Sachin, screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. So, good morning to all. So, already we have started this braking system. So, one unit from second section. So, again, this unit is also having numerical treatment. That means 2 to 3 types numericals we are going to solve with respect to this unit. So this part already we have seen what are the contents with respect to this brake system. So just I will revise. So some of the slides I have modified. So brake is a device used to stop any vehicle by applying frictional forces. So with the help of the frictional lining. So it is one of the most important control components of the vehicle. So already we have seen it is one of the control system, which is also known as running system. Then the brakes are required to stop vehicle within smallest possible distance or within less time in shortest distance. So basically a rotating component, so whatever drum, whatever disc, so those are having a kinetic energy and wheels are rotating. So brakes are applied in that case. So whatever kinetic energy of the vehicle, that is converted into heat energy and that will be dissipated into the atmosphere. So whatever kinetic energy, so we need to provide a frictional force, that frictional energy, and with which vehicle is going to stop in shortest possible distance. So that is nothing but the application of the brake. Then what are the requirements of the brake? So already we have seen brakes must be strong to stop vehicle within a minimum distance in an emergency. So what brakes must have good anti-fade characteristics. That is, their effectiveness should not decrease with prolonged application. And whatever requirement demands with respect to cooling should be very efficient. Then functions of automotive brake system. First one is to slow down or stop the vehicle. Then to control the speed of the vehicle at turn. So nowadays, vehicle are having more speed. So in normal circumstances, it is about 80 kilometers per hour. So at the same time, there is a challenge to design a brake system that will stop the vehicle with minimum possible distance and which will help to control the speed of the vehicle in all the conditions. Then the classification of brakes. So based on how brake is applied, what is the actuation mechanism, how it is constructed, and the braking mechanism. Based on these 4 criteria, the brakes are classified. So first one is method of application. So applied with the help of foot, that is foot brake. So generally for the four-wheeler, that is used as an service brake. Then hand brake, we can apply it just by lifting the arm near to the driver, and that brake we are going to call it as the emergency or parking brake. Then based on mode of operation, so mechanical brake, purely linkage, then hydraulic brakes. So with the help of oil and the principle of hydraulics, that is the hydraulic brake, then air brakes, vacuum brakes, and the electric brakes. So based on the power for applying the brake, so that consists of air brake, vacuum brake, and the electric brake. Again, based on the method of construction, drum brake and the disc brake. And type of braking mechanism, internally expanding brakes and externally contracting brakes. Now, let us see the two basic types of construction with respect to the brake. So first one is drum brake. So we can see on the right hand side of the slide. So two images are shown. In that, this is a rotating drum. So just I will, this one is the rotating drum. And these are the various components required to stop this rotating drum. So this is one of the internal expanding shoe brakes. So internally expanding shoes are there, and those will apply frictional force on the rotating drum. So these internally expanding shoe brakes are mostly used in automobiles. So generally the wheels are fitted on wheel drum. So that one disc is there on which wheel is mounted, and we need to stop that disc or the rotating drum. So as compared to other design, so drum brakes are more widely used. Here the braking power is obtained using brake shoe when they are pushed against the rotating drum or the inner surface of the rotating drum, so which is rotating along with the axle. So this one is the drum, rotating drum. Here it is, a direction is shown with thin arrow. So when these brake shoe, this is the brake shoe, this is pivot end, or here it is fixed axis, about which these are going to be expand. So this one is the frictional lining. It is attached to this brake shoe. So when brakes needs to be applied, this one is a cam. So if it is rotated, automatically this toe end will move in this direction and this one in this direction. So that force is applied at this toe end, and whatever frictional force because of this frictional lining will be applied to this rotating drum, and vehicle is able to stop. So basically in a four-wheeler, so for the front wheels, disc brakes are used and drum brakes are used on the rear wheel. So whatever these components, those are mounted on back plate. So it is not shown here, but just it is a fixed component on which this brake shoe, then this adjuster, anchor, all these components are mounted. Okay. So this is one of the image for the drum brake. This is drum. Then this one is adjuster mechanism. This is brake shoe. This one is friction lining. And here to apply the force at this free end, there is brake cylinder. So it is operated with the help of hydraulic power. And in purely mechanical, such type of cam or lobe construction is used. And additionally, you are observing another components. So this is called as the emergency brake mechanism. So emergency or hand brake, that is purely mechanical one. So we can't use hydraulic or any other brake for emergency or for parking purpose. So that's why a mechanical linkage is used for the emergency brake. Okay. Now, in case of this drum brake, so there is concept of leading and trailing shoe. So you can see this one is rotating drum, inside which this is one brake shoe, this one is other brake shoe, and here this drum is rotating in clockwise direction. That means vehicle is moving in this direction. So this side of brake shoe is moving in outward direction. So that we are going to call it as a leading shoe, which makes contact with the drum, and as it is having clockwise direction, again this drum is also rotating in the clockwise direction. So this will able to apply the brake more efficiently as compared to this, because it is moving in opposite direction. So whatever flying of this side of brake shoe, it is in opposite direction. So this side brake shoe, we are going to call it as a leading, and this side of brake shoe, we are going to call it as a trailing or heading or tailing, another word. So leading shoe tip is dragged along the drum. That means there is proper contact between leading shoe and the drum. So more of braking effort is applied by the leading shoe. Whereas trailing shoe tips is thrown off the brake drum, because when brake is applied, that means force is applied to this end. This end, this end. It will move in this direction. It will move in this direction. And this drum is moving in clockwise, rotating in the clockwise direction. So there is difference in the direction of the motion of this rotating drum and this brake shoe. Because of that, it is not having energization. As compared to this side brake shoe is energized because actuating force will move brake shoe in the clockwise direction. At the same time, this brake drum is rotating in the clockwise direction. So we can have one conclusion with respect to this braking, leading and the trailing shoe, that net force on leading shoe is greater than net force on the trailing shoe. So why it is there? Because there is energization in one case, that is in the case of the leading shoe. Okay. Then next type of construction, that is disc brake. So modern motor cars are fitted with disc brakes instead of conventional drum type brakes. But some of the cars are equipped with drum brakes on the rear axle or for wheels at the rear, and only front wheels are equipped with the disc brake. Okay, so some of the example. So vehicles like Maruti 800, again you can consider that Maruti Suzuki Swift cars. On the rear, drum brakes are there. At the front, disc brakes are there. So in case of the disc brake, so brake pads are there, which expands against rotating disc, and those brake pads are operated with the help of cylinder piston arrangement. So a schematic of disc brake is shown here. Here, this is schematic of the disc brake. You can see construction. This one is brake disc, which is attached to the rotating hub of the wheel. So here, the disc brake consists of cast iron disc, which is bolted to wheel hub, and stationary housing called caliper. So this one is the caliper, which is mounted with the help of one of the side arm. So this caliper is connected to some stationary part of the vehicle like axle. So this one is the piston cylinder arrangement. This one is piston cylinder arrangement. Generally, it is called as a wheel cylinder. This brake caliper, this one is fixed. So at the end of this, there is brake pad. Here also brake pad is there, which is operated once this piston is moved in this direction, with the help of brake fluid from the master cylinder. So when brakes are applied, that means lever is pressed, brake lever is pressed to apply the brake. So accordingly, the fluid from the master cylinder will reach to the wheel cylinder, and these pistons are moved friction pad into contact of that rotating disc, and that will grab or that will stop the rotating disc. So this piston will move in this direction, this will move in this direction, and this one is the fixed caliper. So from both the sides, the rotating disc will be in grab. So this disc will be clutch. So on the releasing of the brake, so whatever rubber springs which are not shown in this figure will act as a return spring, and that will help to regain or retain original position of the piston, and accordingly the brake pads will move away from the rotating disc. In that way, this disc is now free to rotate. So via master cylinder, so oil will flow to wheel cylinder, and whatever hydraulic principle, so we are going to get this piston move in this direction, and brake will be applied. So basically there are two types of disc brake. One is called as fixed caliper. So whatever previous figure we have seen, the same is called as a fixed caliper disc brake. This is wheel cylinder, this one is wheel cylinder, this one is piston, and at the one end, at this end brake pad is there, at this end brake pad is there. This will move towards this rotating disc, and this is the fixed assembly. Only piston is movable because of this oil pressure which is generated in the master cylinder. And second one, that is floating caliper. So single pot or sometimes twin pot. So this one is single pot, that means one cylinder and piston arrangement. Only inner pad is moved by the wheel cylinder. So, and whatever outer pad will move towards rotating disc just by moving the caliper automatically. So once this will reach to this rotating disc, automatically this will in contact, because the pressure is applied with this piston on this disc. It will move in this way towards right, and rotating disc will be in grab of these two pistons, two brake pads. So you can see this is a brake disc or rotor. These are the studs used to mount the wheel. This is wheel hub. This one is caliper. This is sliding pin. This is brake pad. So this is bleed valve and this is piston housing. This one is the piston housing. So this is a floating caliper or moving caliper example. So this is also single pot as single cylinder is there. Okay. Now with respect to this disc brake, so there is one mechanism that is called as a automatic adjusting mechanism of the disc brake. Okay. So in case of disc brake, so there is one seal which is used to avoid leakage of the oil inside the piston cylinder arrangement. That seal is used to get retraction of the piston and the brake pads after releasing the brake. So you can see when brake is applied. So this one is cylinder, this is the piston, this one is the seal. This one is the seal. So this is the original condition. When brake is applied, what will happen? So piston will move in particular direction, and this, after releasing the brake, this seal, rubber seal, will provide a retraction of the brake pad and the piston to its original position. So this piston seal returns to its original shape, pulling back when brakes are released. So these are acting as a retracting spring, which we have seen in case of the drum brake. So whatever function of drum brake, there is a retracting spring. The same function is possible with the help of this rubber seals, piston seals. Then let us see what are the advantages and the disadvantages of disc brake. So first advantage, that is disc brake. So their resistance to wear, as disc remain cool even after repeated brake application. So you might have seen that disc brake, the wheel is the disc is having number of holes. So even though it will hit, but due to those holes, it is having good cooling characteristics. So in spite of repeated braking action, it will remain cool, and that will provide good friction at all the times. Secondly, the brake pads are easy to replace, and again, brake pads can be inspected without dismantling the brake system. So just by manual inspection without dismantling of any of the component, we can check the condition of brake pad for wear. Then disadvantage, what are the disadvantages of the disc brake? We have seen drum brakes are having self-emerging, that is self-energizing in case of the leading shoe, wherein there is no self-emerging in case of drum brake. That's why more force is required. Then pad wear is more, so as compared to the frictional lining, that shoe brake, so the period for replacement is less as compared to the brake shoe. Then these disc brakes are not used for another function, that is for the emergency braking. You should note that hand brakes are better with mechanical brakes. So disc brake or drum brakes. Out of this, drum brakes are used for service brake, as well as they can be used for another function, that is as a handbrake or the emergency brake, by providing a separate mechanism to operate the handbrake. So this one is the separate mechanism, and this is possible only with this drum brake. So disc brakes are not used for emergency or the parking brake. Okay. So what are the applications? So disc brakes are used on front of all modern vehicle, and in some of the modern vehicle, both front and rear wheel disc brakes are provided. So because of following advantages over the drum brakes, so what are the advantages? Because of that, these are used on both the wheels, front as well as rear. Better tread resistance, reduced pulling and grabbing. So what we have seen in case of drum brake, there is trailing and leading shoe. So that will influence on the vehicle in terms of pulling or grabbing. Again, these are having self-adjustment capabilities. So because of this, these are used on both front as well as rear wheels. Okay. Then next type of brake. So now based on how it is operated, so we can have different types. So based on construction, what we have seen, first one is drum brake, second one is disc brake. Now, so whatever drum brake which is used for the bike, that is purely mechanically operated. That is also one of the example with respect to the mechanical brake. So mechanical linkage that works the rear wheel brake. So generally for 4 wheels, this is the mechanism which is purely mechanically operated. This is handbrake lever. This one is ratchet. Here it is pivot point. This is the cable. This one is brake compensator. These are the secondary cable, and these are the rear brakes. So generally there is band brake. So suppose you are going to consider such band. You are going to consider this as a wheel. So this will be tightened with the help of this secondary cable, and it is possible with the help of this mechanical linkage. So in most of vehicle, a hand lever or foot pedal engages parking brake. So it is having a separate system. So it is not equipped up with any another air or hydraulic system, because for parking, so vehicle is stationary, we need to park vehicle. That means we are locking the wheels, and if hydraulic medium is used, then there will be continuous pressure in that system, and that is not good, or there may be a possibility of leakage because of continuous pressure in the oil lines. So generally this is one of the external contracting brake band on the drive shaft. So previously we have seen in the drum brake from internally expanding brakes, wherein for some of the cases we can apply externally contracting brake bands on the drive shaft to have emergency brake. Okay. So again, you can see handbrake or parking brake. So purely mechanical system to apply the brake. So whatever parking brake lever, so that is connected with the help of a cable to this mechanism, and driver is able to apply the emergency or parking brake. Okay. So some of the note with respect to this parking or emergency brake. So whatever drum brake is there, the same drum brake can be used as a parking brake, but with the help of purely mechanical linkage. Okay. Then next type of brakes, that is hydraulic brakes. So see this figure as well as this figure. So with the help of hydraulic, that is oil pressure, the cam or the wheel cylinder will be operated or actuated to provide braking force at free end or the toe end of the brake shoe. So what is hydraulic brakes? So brakes which are actuated with the help of hydraulic pressure. So generally it is generated at one place, that is at in the master cylinder, and that is provided to the wheels, each wheel, with the help of wheel cylinder. So hydraulic brakes are commonly used in automobile. So whatever Pascal's law, which states that pressure at a point in a fluid is equal in all direction in a space. That means this one is the master cylinder, a piston cylinder arrangement, and that is used to generate pressure, and that pressure is supplied to all these wheel cylinder, and whatever pressure at this point, that will act equally in all direction. So this is wheel, here it is wheel cylinder, this one is master cylinder, and this is brake pedal. So according to the Pascal's law, so once pressure is generated in the master cylinder, so that will apply to all the wheel cylinder, and that will actuate piston in the wheel cylinder. So according to this law, when pressure is applied on a fluid, so with the help of that brake pedal, we are applying the pressure. It travels equally in all directions so that uniform braking action is applied on all four wheels. So basically, it is more convenient to get uniform braking action by using hydraulic principle. So you can see this one is the tandem master cylinder. So this is master, first we'll see master cylinder. This one is master cylinder piston. This is wheel cylinder. This is wheel cylinder. This is wheel cylinder. This one is the wheel cylinder. And these are the fluid lines or the pipes, metal pipes, which are required to connect master cylinder with this wheel cylinder. So once a force is applied on this brake pedal, this will move piston inside this master cylinder towards this direction, and that force will be provided to this pistons with the help of this oil. So, and this piston will move in outward direction, and that will apply braking force at this free end, and braking action will be takes place. So you can see another figure here. This is called as a tandem master cylinder. One compartment is used to provide oil to two wheel cylinder, and another compartment is used to provide oil to two wheel cylinder. So this one is tandem master cylinder. That means one compartment for two wheels and one compartment for two wheels. Even though one compartment there is leakage in this fluid line, one is able to apply the braking action on remaining two wheel. So this is again line diagram, a schematic diagram. You can see this one is the master cylinder, piston, brake pedal. This is given to the front wheel. This is given to the rear wheel. So when brake pedal is pressed, the force is transmitted to the brake shoe through a liquid. So whatever liquid is flowing in the lines, with that the force applied at the brake pedal is transmitted to the brake shoe to apply the brake. So generally in a four-wheeler, this hydraulic braking system consists of one master cylinder, four wheel cylinder. So whatever this master cylinder, it is connected with the help of tubing to all four cylinder. So this system is equipped with brake fluid. So generally that brake fluid is a mixture of glycerin and alcohol or castor oil and some of the additives. So generally it is incompressible. You can see so this is master cylinder consisting one piston, whereas wheel cylinder consisting two piston. Here two pistons. This is one and this one is second. One second. One and second. Like this, two pistons are there in case of wheel cylinder. Okay. So brake applied. So now just you can see how hydraulic braking is working. So when brake pedal is pressed to apply the brakes, the piston in the master cylinder forces the brake fluid into the tubing, and that will increase the pressure of the fluid, and this pressure is supplied to all the four wheel cylinder according to the Pascal law. And this increased pressure or whatever pressure in the fluid lines, that will apply force on two pistons. So whatever oil inside this, in between these two piston, will apply force on two pistons in the wheel cylinder, and those pistons are connected to the brake shoe, and that will move the brake shoe in outward direction. So here brake wheel cylinder is there. This is brake shoe. This one is brake shoe. It will move in this way. It will move in this way because of the force. This actuation mechanism is hydraulic one, that will move piston in outward direction. This is in right, this one is in left. Okay. Now when brake pedal is released, what will happen? The piston in master cylinder. Now this one is tandem, so two pistons are there. So pistons in master cylinder, tandem master cylinder, return to its original position because of retractor springs provided in the master cylinder. That is not shown in this figure. So accordingly, the fluid pressure drops to original value, and that piston in the wheel cylinder will regain their original position, and accordingly brake shoe will be apart from the rotating drum. So once brake is applied, so brake pedal should be pressed, pressure will be generated, and that is supplied to the wheel cylinder, and brake is applied. After releasing the brake pedal, so automatically pressure in the fluid line drops to its original value, and via retractor spring, brake shoe will be away from the rotating drum. So there are certain advantages and disadvantages of this hydraulic braking system. So advantages, there is equal braking action on all wheels. We can get increased braking force. Simple in construction, only one master cylinder and 4 wheel cylinders. Low wear rate of brake lining and flexibility of brake lining, and increased mechanical advantage. While as disadvantages, sometimes whole braking system fails due to leakage of fluid from the brake lining, and sometimes a slight leakage of air into the braking system makes it useless because air is compressible. So once air will enter into such hydraulic system, it will provide trouble and it will become useless. So these are the disadvantages. So now I am stopping here.